For just the start of the news review, we're joined by political scientist and director of the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante. Doc, good morning.
Good morning, Ben.
Good to have you join us this Wednesday morning. I hope you're well.
I'm very well.
All right. That's good to hear. We'll leave it to you to share your quick thoughts on any new developments. I don't know whether it's going to be the AG's tussle with Dr. Atuforsen, Richard Jakpa, and that court, or it's going to be something else. But over to you.
I think I want to look at something different. I think 3 days ago, your network did something about fibroid cases that is increasing in this country. And they trace it to high metals in the people they found, the problems with. And the medical doctor was so worried about the fact that we are getting even children, people who are in their teens, 12, 15 and all that, who are now affected by fibroid. According to the doctor, it is an issue that normally is associated with people who are aged a little bit in their 30s and all that. Now you are getting children. And it's a high concentration of metals in their body. This is very worrying signal for us because you are building a society where you want to have as many healthy people as possible to support the building of the economy. And so an opportunity for everybody to live a meaningful life. Here you are. We are saddled with this problem. And it comes back to the issue of galamsey and then its effects. It seems to me that our government is adamant with all the things we are saying because this is not the first time we are getting this type of report. We have got another one already from KNUST, where they also talk about the effect that has led to issue of renal cases and all that. First of all, we give power to a body like government to manage on our behalf so that we will also contribute our quota to supporting the government to survive, and then it creates opportunity for all of us. There are rules that accompany this type of enterprise. And we expect that the government will implement them to the fullest. It seems to me that this government doesn't care a hoot about all these cry-on calls. And today, we have all these problems. What they should think about it is that, look, today is not you, but tomorrow, who knows? And for me, any government that doesn't serve the interests of the people, according to Aristotle, then there is a problem with that government. There's a problem with its legitimacy. There's a problem with people supporting the government. So I think that government will listen to these calls and then act promptly so that we can save Ghanaian society. It is not good enough to have a government where problems confront the society and all the people talk about fell on deaf ears.
Well, thank you for your thoughts, Doc. Thank you for making them bare. But we'll get into the papers now. Are we starting with the Ghanaian Times?
Yes. First, let's look at the Ghanaian Times newspaper. On the front page, Ghana launches Vision 2057 as NDPC aims at elevating country to upper middle income status. Ghana commemorates World Menstrual Hygiene Day. Court cautions against commentary on 2.37 million euros ambulance case. ECOWAS countries urged to embrace digitalization. Let's get into the paper now and do some quick stories.
So now, before you get into the papers, just two quick thoughts. The Vision 2057. I say every cycle will have, we've been doing this, and Sebi Tafrache in Kosiaga. Recently I spoke to the NDPC boss. He's my friend, Dr. Abrampa. But we keep doing these planning without any effect. I don't know. It's good we have a plan, but to stick to them, and usually it comes around these times where there likely could be a change of political cycle, and then it ends up where it ends up. But anyway, And there was a second story, I think the last one you took, the banner headline. I just wanted to, can you take that again? So it was...
ECOWAS countries urge to embrace digitalization.
No, there was something else.
Court cautions against commentary.
Oh yeah, I wanted to say, and right after that, the two of them had press conferences and kept... You know, it was funny for me because I knew that, was it Sam Jemfi was going to speak shortly after that on our platform. And then later the presses happened. So I was just thinking, okay, the justice of the court, this thing she's saying, it's clear that afterwards they are going to do the exact opposite. But anyway, just quick thoughts on that. Please go ahead.
Well, they have come out to give their own reactions to whatever this case is. Some are saying it's doctored, others are saying it's a vendetta against a particular person. But let's get into the papers. So the Court of Appeal judge on Monday advised parties in the ongoing trial of the minority leader, Dr. Kesela Forson, in the ambulance case to desist from making commentary pending the determination of the case. The Justice, Ifiasewa Saribuchi, sitting with additional responsibility as a High Court judge, issued a caution following commentaries made by persons connected to the parties in the media. We've all been following the case, so I'll just hold on that, do some quick stories, and then we come back to Dr. Kwame Asante for his comments. God granted 10,000 Ghana cedi bail over illegal possession of police military accoutrements. Court dismisses 1.5 million Nana Oye libel suit. Ochehene calls for increased investment in rural communities. There's an editorial here. History has absorbed me by Cameroon Dodu. And Ghana commemorates Menstrual Hygiene Day. That was yesterday, the 10th anniversary of World Menstrual Hygiene Day. And then Ghana launches Vision 2057, which Benjamin says we keep doing, but Ngosiaga. Minister of Finance currently working on MOU on exercise central bank governor. He was in the news this morning about the Societe Generale issue and how they've been left in the dark because they had mentioned that they were reviewing their existence here in Ghana, their business activities here in Ghana, but nothing's been heard about it since that's...
At a point, I saw a story purportedly from the mother branch or the headquarters in France stating that the head, at least there had been no such communication from the head, the group head in France. So we wait, but we do know that other entities have upped and left, and we're just hoping that SG doesn't join them because like the former president said, once you have such a stream, no matter how many you are coming in, if you have so many going out, it could be like, you know, one step forward, two steps backwards. So let's see how it goes.
I think his expectation policy is just right that they inform the Bank of Ghana, the governor, if indeed they intend to leave, because their businesses are directly tied to the lives of Ghanaians and the bank. So
I mean, they can't just up and leave. If they are going to do that,
they should just let us know.
There are mechanisms in place that they will have to follow.
But Dr. Kwame Asante, any of these are some major stories in the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Before I move on to another paper, any quick reflections?
Yes, I think I'll look at this development plan issue.
Right.
I agree with Ben because every time we talk about this, as if we are serious about having a deep plan that will help us. But if you look at developed countries, these are things that they do to be able to guide their conduct and the programs that they have for their people. We spent a lot of resources to develop this, and then it turned out to be something that we are not interested in. What kind of people are we? We have less resources, but the little that we have, we are not able to manage them well. I'm sorry. I don't know how would this one, where would this take us to? Because these plans, a lot of resources go into that. And there are things that reflect the problems that we have and the solutions that are necessary to deal with this problem. So when we develop this, and at the end of the day, it's going to be thrown away, then look, what have you attained from this? I think we as a society should decide what we want to do and then make sure that we force it down the throat of those political actors who want to seek power. Otherwise, we must as well abandon it and then leave ourselves to fate.
All right. The New Finder newspaper on the front page, Salt Project delights AGI, that is the Association of Ghana Industries. NDC, NPP sharply divide over Godfred Dame audio. CBG expands presence with 5 new branch openings, and NLA DG retains Best Public Sector CEO Award. Let's quickly get into the story of this NDC, NPP sharp divide, because the audio was released yesterday. I'm sure we've all heard it, and there's a number of contradiction, but my concern really about this is that this is supposed to be an issue tried in court. And somehow the persons who are supposed to be trying this case are involved in the case. Now it's an NPP NDC issue, when it's an issue of justice. But
I think, and I have refrained from repeating what Nana Boachi, Nana B has put out in terms of the name of this justice of the Apex Court who purportedly had this arrangement. I'm sure that person did it in good faith, trying to, after all, there's a plea bargain arrangement, which the Attorney General has actually acknowledged was happening, was going on, per what we know. So...
No, it's been rejected.
No, I'm saying there was something going on. There was some arrangement, right? There was some negotiation on those borders. After all, why then was he meeting with Richard Jakpa in any case, right? But my point is, I'm sure by now, the Supreme Court judge is ruling, attempting to offer whatever help this person, and mind you, I'm not even stating he or she, this person was trying to offer. It just leaves a sour taste in the mouths of everybody. But listening to both sides, there are still missing pieces in that puzzle for me. And I still feel there are questions from both ends to be answered. The good thing, though, the justice sitting on the case has said that part of why she was saying these two sides, the NDC and the NPP, shouldn't scandalize the court was that she said it shouldn't create, anything in the minds of people, the court of public opinion, but that she wouldn't be affected by anything they are saying out there. I pray so.
And I want to see where this leading justice that the Chief Justice, Justice Tokono, launched and how it comes to play in this particular matter. She mentioned about transparency, and this is happening.
I knew you were going there.
You knew I was going there. I'm just curious to see what she says, what she has to say about all of this, because this is her department. But Dr. Kwame Assasan, do you want to react to this story before we could proceed?
Yes, I think the stories have just started. And I want to wait because day in, day out, we are getting a lot of information. There are questions that need to be asked, as Ben rightly said. And there are more answers that we also deserve as a people who have the right to know. So I will hold on and then listen to the conversation, but I'll end my submission on the fact that something that Samson Ladi said, that we need a body, a commission, a committee to look into this so that given the issues that are involved, then they look at it and then they tell the public what went wrong, what went right. I think I support that call, so that at the end of this matter will not be thrown into the field of politics and where it can be handled the way it doesn't ought to be. If a committee look at it and then they come out with their findings, at the end of the day, we will go home and then look at it and then inform ourselves accordingly.
Right. So, Salt Project delights AGI. That is on page 4 of the New Finder newspaper. The Accra chairman of the Association of Ghana Industries, Mr. Chonam Akpelu, has called on members of the association and business community in Ghana to explore the potential of the Songo salt industry managed by Electrochem Ghana Limited. Now, during an industrial tour of the Songo salt factory in Adam in the Greater Accra region, Mr. Akpelu emphasized the need for a drastic change in Ghana's approach to industrialization urging a deliberate effort to harness the country's natural resources. The talk comprised members of both Accra and Tema branches of the AGI from different sectors, including agro-foods and cosmetics, among others. And he highlighted the importance of learning from each other and networking to promote industrialization. These and many other stories in the new Finder newspaper, like Parliament to resume on Tuesday. Application for special voting opens this Thursday from June 17th. This Thursday, 30th of May to June 17th. Yesterday, the EC had a press conference. I was there, and they got into all the details of who's qualified, what your requirements are if you want to register to partake in this special voting. So we'll bring you updates in our subsequent bulletin. NDC, NPP sharply divided over this issue. So grab a copy for yourself and get into the stories. The Custodian newspaper now. Dame on the front page. Dame stay to protect public purse. NPP to NDC. 2024 special voting on December 2nd. Keep your hard work. Keep up your hard work, according to Ochinhene to Kojo Opon Kroma. Most of these stories we've already delved into. Baumia Floss Mahamat CEO Summit, that was about sometime last week. Ghana and the Olympic Games Mexico 1968, it's an editorial. And Dame will stay to protect public purse, that is the NPP to the NDC, during their press conference yesterday on their reaction to that release of the tape. Right, so these are just some stories here in the Custodian newspaper. Dr. Kwame Asante.
I will look at the salt projects.
Right.
If you look at salt, what people call the white gold, is a very important commodity that is used for a lot of things. And I am happy that my country has taken the opportunity to mine salt, develop it to the highest. We want to see more of this so that other resources which are lying fallow and we are not putting them into economic and effective economic use will be able to turn them around and then get some employment for our people. You and I are alive to the fact that we have a large youth who have no jobs. So these ventures, if we develop them well, is going to create jobs and then make life better for people. That is all there is to it.
Fortunately, we have more than one natural resources. So if cocoa is not doing so well, I mean, we can look to salt to see where that goes. Benjamin, what papers do you have?
Well, I'm going to be looking at the Daily Guide newspaper and two others. So some of the same issues we've already looked at, but Samir Wuku is CEO of the year, and I believe this is the second time. Congratulations to him. EC holds special voting on December the 2nd. 2.37 million euro ambulance case. We're not interested in your politics, judge cautions, and that's to both the NDC and the NPP. AG will not resign. That's according to the NPP. And there's also Samira urges menstrual hygiene awareness. So I'll just take a quick swipe at those stories. But in terms of the AG issue, since we've already flogged that horse, and we know of the details now emerging, not just the purported video or audio, now a call of about 16 minutes or so. Now, you would notice that the NDC is demanding the dismissal of the Attorney General. Some have called for his resignation. Yesterday, I had a conversation with the likes of Professor Apieje Etua, lecturer at the University of Ghana Law School. He backs that call. Dr. John Osai Kwapong is iffy. He wants to know more before he can join that call. Martin Kwebu says he should resign. The NDC is saying he should resign or be dismissed, and that he ought to be prosecuted, and that if the president fails to do that, should they come to power, they will prosecute him. It makes for interesting conversation, right? You're wondering whether, is it going to be tit for tat, quid pro quo, you do me, I do you? You remember at Mills, he stepped away from all of that, and he wanted Asumje, but it appears, anyway, I'll leave the courts to do what they will. The the AG will not resign. That's what the NPP is saying. Doc, So these are the bits out there. But before I go on, I'll just touch on, this will be the only story I'll do. Second Lady Samira Baumia yesterday commemorated World Menstrual Hygiene Day in the Greater Accra region with a call on girls to prioritize menstrual hygiene management. The event held at the Odogono Senior High School in the Gas Central Municipality brought together over 1,000 students from 19 basic schools in the municipality. One thing that shocks me, and as a lecturer of political science, you know very well that the state is supposed to deliver certain boons to the people. One thing that never fails to surprise me, the fact that we have so many of our young girls having to go through quite an ordeal when it comes to securing menstrual hygiene logistics. Sanitary pads, even the most basic ones. You look at the cost of it, the taxes on them, the so-called local production, how it's not meeting the needs, how some of them are using pieces of cloth, maybe contaminated, and getting infected in the process, how some of them are giving their bodies away just to secure funds to get these. I am always very passionate about these because for a long time I was actually helping certain groups out of pocket to get them. So I know some of these problems. And for me, I can't get why, and it's not like a now problem, but any society that runs short of vaccines for children, any society that cannot intervene for everybody who goes through the menstrual cycle to get pads, something as common as pads, I don't know whether that is I don't want to use certain words. Over to you, Doc.
Ben, you couldn't have said it better because you see, this is a major issue. But it shouldn't be. You want a society, but you don't want to support menstrual health care. I mean, it's difficult to understand this. I recall the NDC had a program like this where they were distributing sanitary pads to students, I think under the leadership of Nano Yelita or so. What has happened to that program ever since NDC left office? A good policy is always a good policy. And that is why in the minds of those who frame the Constitution, it's saying that anything that government starts, government invests into it, you need to continue. What are we experiencing today? A policy will be just thrown away simply because it's coming from, or those who initiated it come from the other side of the political divide. It shouldn't be, because a good policy is always a good policy. And that is why government is nothing but a continuum. You continue from where the previous government ended its affairs. That is all. So it's unfortunate, but that is why we as a people, we must come in and then make sure that these things are implemented. If they refuse, let us punish them. Let us punish them by voting them out of office. That is all. Because as citizens, where lies our power? Our power is in what? Our ability to vote and then replace those who are not ready to serve society well. If we have, leaders like that, why not? Kick them out. If you have those who are interested in managing the affairs of the state very well for us, maintain them. That is all. On that basis, they will be able to learn the ropes well and serve society.
Just to run this by you, there's an editorial on page 4, halting the dancing cedi. And I've been praying. I know prayers will not necessarily lift the cedi, as some time back we said, but the way things are going is I just pray. Because if you look at the dollar, euro, pound, as for the pound, if you're paying anything in pounds, God help you. Then on page 8, 3-year-old in Lewin accident buried. I feel really sad about that story. I saw a statement from Wizzy Empire or so and everything in between. But I'm asking, who's culpable? And this 3-year-old hit dead. How do we account for this life in terms of legal processes? I mean, it cannot be that some people can get away with anything. I'm not saying that, because they also allude to the police investigations in their statement. But I'm saying, what's going on? How come we don't know practically anything about this issue. That 3-year-old couldn't have died for nothing. The law must take its course. So that is one. 2 quick issues, those ones. I don't know what your thoughts are, whether you heard of the Low-Wind accident.
I think I will look at the dancing CD. We have heard that this government is saying, you recall recently the vice president, took part. He was away outside this country, and there was a program with the CEOs Forum, and John Mahama spoke there. Then he also was invited to also speak, and then praising the way the economy is improving and all that. So I am at sea to hear that there is a dancing CD. I mean, where do we go from here? All the time, managers of the economy will want us to believe that things are right. They are getting the basics right. But in the real life situation, you realize that the situation is different. Why is it so? Management of the economy becomes so difficult for our leaders, yet they still want to maintain power, or they still want to look for power. I think that we need to reflect on this so well, because I don't see why when people are looking for power, they do everything, convince us into believing that they have what it takes to manage the economy. And then as soon as they get power, you see them in all manner of reckless policies, and it takes us to levels that you and I don't know. And then they turn around saying that yes, attributed to all manner of factors within the system. All these factors exist, yet you said that you have what it takes to manage it. So there shouldn't be any excuse. Deliver or fix it. I just want to use the language of the president. So fix it. That's it. That is all that we need. If you can't fix it, then what's the business in politics? It's difficult. It's difficult. So NPP, if they have what it takes to manage the economy, they should fix the dancing scene.
Let's get into a few papers. This is where I'm going to end. The Today newspaper says, hashtag bring back GN Bank national tour. In recent times, we've had Papa Kwesi Ndum talking about the billions, I think about 7 or so billion Ghana cedis that he's owed. Then our prioritized economy, former President Mahama said so. And then manufacturers kick against 5% excise tax on plastic products. The Accra Times newspaper says, NDC strips AG naked with incontrovertible evidence. Again, I always say that with some of these newspapers, if you pick one newspaper, you will see something diametrically opposed to another newspaper. So let's just take it as one of those, because I picked the Daily Guide or another newspaper, and you know that it's going to be something very different. So let's take it like that. Akando accuses NPP of diverting critical funds meant for the NHIS, and then help resolve rising cost of cement. This is a major issue, the cost of cement. Yusuf Suleimana, the Bolibam boy legislator, tells government. Then be transparent on hotel sale. Afenyo marking to SNIT. This story has made the rounds. Yesterday it was in a different paper. Today, the Accra Times actually captures it, lifting directly from myjoyonline.com. We know ball. We've been cited, so it is fine. Any quick thoughts? Rising cost of cement. Afenyo marking on the SNIT sale. He is actually saying, I'm wondering whether I can find any quotes of his here. He says, I don't think, he says SNIT must come out and even not only this decision, it must look at all their investments that are failing and explain them to the public. I'm sure that the TUC and other labor unions will understand if these things are explained, and they will take away Brian Echampion as a person and understand that let's not look at the form, but at the substance. That's what he said. Any quick thoughts? And we're done, Doc.
I think I'll look at the sale of the hotels, right? I have said, and I'll repeat, that we want to know why we are selling these hotels. So I support the call of the majority leader, right? We want to know, explain it to her, because at the end of the day, it's the people whose property you want to sell. So let us know, are they working well? You have a hotel which we are told that is able to give us about 25 million Ghana cedis some time ago. What has happened to it that we want to sell? We want to know. Is there any value for money, analysis you have done? Share with us. We want to know. And then also let us know, everything that is associated with it. When there the issue of what? Conflict of interest. If there was something like that, did the person cure that, problem in there? Because in the area of conflict of interest, I'm not a lawyer, but they will tell you that you declare the interest. And there's those who manage the affairs will take a decision. Was that done? So we need all the questions and answers so that the public will have will be better informed relative to the issues. Let us remember that the public has the right to know.
The public has the right to know. Thank you so much, Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante, for sharing your thoughts with us, for having breakfast with us this morning. We wish you the best of the day. Right. And that is Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante. He's a political scientist and head of the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana. Any final thoughts, sweetie?
We have a right to know. I was just getting to a story here, which is quite interesting. One of the board members for SNIT was saying that the hotels were actually broke. And although he doesn't have the information, it's verifiable. So where are they? And why is SNIT quiet about it? And that's what
Afenyo Markin is calling for. Plus,
so
I remember, thanks to a few events I've had to attend, I know La Palm has had its own, but the Labadi Beach Hotel is doing well.
Bad. Yes.
I go there, like I said, there have been events that have taken me there, even from work, where we've had. And I am just wondering, I'm curious. If not for any of them, I want to know the salient details about the Labadi Beach Hotel. Because I've never been there and got the impression that they were, yes, the books of an entity could look a certain way. But when you go, you look at the food, you look at the people there, you look at the numbers of people, foreigners and others there. I have had some intel about the number of people lodging at any given time within a quarter. And I'm asking myself, I don't know. And the Labadi Beach Hotel is one of them. So I'm just wondering what is going on.
We can't judge, or we can only speculate, Ben. The number of people there, what they're doing there. They should just give us the details. I find it's very weird that they'll release a statement like that and then end by saying that they will not say anything anymore. And truly, they've stuck to their words. But this man is a board member, Mr. Champong, and whatever he's saying, we cannot take his word for it. He should just provide us the details. Paper, hard paper. Let us see that, yes, indeed. The hotels were broke. Otherwise, much ado about nothing.